What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another stimulus check update and stimulus package news report. Today was supposed to be deadline day. That is what Nancy Pelosi said. Well, that is not what Nancy Pelosi meant. What Nancy Pelosi meant we'll get to in just a minute. But there are reports out today, and Nancy Pelosi even did an interview today saying that, yes, we are getting closer. We have narrowed our gap with Republicans, and a stimulus check, stimulus package, and all stimulus to the American people hopefully will be coming very soon. Well, in an interview today, Nancy Pelosi softened her stance on multiple issues, which we haven't seen this from Nancy Pelosi. Nancy Pelosi has been adamant, $2.2 trillion or nothing, and that right now does not seem to be the case. Nancy Pelosi softened her stance on a few different things. Two main things, actually. At this time, Nancy Pelosi stated that her and Steve Mnuchin are working towards a compromise with state and local government funding and liability protections. This is really good news. And I say this is really good news because Nancy Pelosi didn't say anything about tax cuts or testing and tracing at this point. Now, again, this is really good news because that means that we must have some type of an agreement between Nancy Pelosi and Steve Mnuchin on the tax cuts and testing, tracing, and treatments, and also the language. Now, Nancy Pelosi did go on and say that they might live to fight another day in regards to census and election funding. And this is also more good news because initially, and especially last week, if you remember when she talked to Wolf Blitzer just last week alone, that she was just hammering him. She was on him. She was irate. Well, it now seems like she understands that Republicans are not going to give in to every single one of her demands. State and local government funding, unemployment, tax cuts, tax breaks, liability protections, testing and tracing, and so on and so forth. Republicans are not going to give in to everything that Nancy Pelosi and Democrats want. No matter how much President Trump wants a stimulus check out before the election, the Republicans are not going to go for this. And I think President Trump knows this, and so does Steve Mnuchin. So, again, this is more good news. It seems like Nancy Pelosi has softened her stance and is now willing to accept a compromise bipartisan bill. That's the key word, bipartisan. If it's not bipartisan, it may pass the House. It may get President Trump's stamp of approval. However, it will not pass through the Senate, which means President Trump's signature would not be on the bill, which would mean it would not actually go through. Now, what seems to be happening right now, or especially here, is that Nancy Pelosi is compromising with her demands. She understands things are not going to go all my way. I cannot get everything on my wish list. So she's backtracking. One thing that Nancy Pelosi did say, did come out and say today is that Republicans have compromised on OSHA protections for the workers. Now, this is very important, because OSHA protections are for the workers. The liability protections are more for the businesses. And that is what Mitch McConnell is really pushing for. And that is what his red line is. That Republicans need liability protections for businesses. That's the main thing. But as Nancy Pelosi stated, Republicans have compromised on OSHA protections, which is also another good thing, which means that I believe we are getting closer to a deal on liability protections. Right now, we probably just need the right wording or the right language, as Nancy Pelosi likes to put it. But she also said she's not happy with the wording used in Mitch McConnell's liability provisions for businesses. She says his businesses are for 4 years and are not COVID-centric, which is the whole point of these stimulus negotiations. Everything needs to revolve around COVID. And if it's not, get it out. It has no point to be in this talk, in this bill. This is for COVID-related issues. Well, 4 years down the line, yes, we might still be dealing with COVID. However, that's probably not going to be a big issue. We should have a vaccine. We should know the treatment plan. We should have everything ready by then. So 4 years down the line, Nancy Pelosi is not willing to go that far, especially with the way Mitch McConnell has these provisions written. Also, Nancy Pelosi was asked about how the American people will learn about the possibility of a deal today or sometime tonight. She said that the deadline wasn't actually a deadline. She said, this is her exact quote, "It isn't that this day was the day that we would have a deal. It was a day that we would have our terms on the table to be able to go to the next step." Now, Nancy Pelosi seems like she is backing off of that hard line, or that hard deadline, which was just stated on Saturday, which technically the 48-hour deadline should have been Monday night, not Tuesday night or tonight. Now she says she would like it sometime this week. Well, I'm not sure what this means for their terms, but as we already know, if a deal doesn't happen sometime today or early tomorrow, then having a stimulus passed and hopefully somewhat executed before the election is almost impossible. Nancy Pelosi did say that she wanted the stimulus to be agreed upon today, which still could happen. We aren't 100% sure there. It was reported that Nancy Pelosi and Steve Mnuchin will talk later on, which would be probably tomorrow. But there could still be potential movement and a deal struck sometime today. Most likely it will not happen though. However, if this doesn't happen, which I don't expect it will, they will not stop negotiations. She said Steve Mnuchin and herself would not be in this negotiation process if they didn't feel a deal could be reached. And they also said the virus will not stop, so neither will we. What we know moving forward is that there are still issues that need to be worked out. But Nancy Pelosi and Steve Mnuchin seem to be closer than ever at this time. My expectation is that Republicans will eventually get their tax break for the wealthier families in the United States, as long as Democrats also get the tax breaks they are seeking for the poorer families. And that would be the child tax credit and the earned income credits. Now, this is simply the give to get strategy. It's very simple. You give somebody something so that they give you something in return. I expect that's exactly what's going to happen here, and I don't see any reason why it wouldn't work. We also know that after roughly 45 minutes of talking today, Nancy Pelosi and Steve Mnuchin are said to have another conversation. This will most likely be tomorrow. Probably about 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Drew Hamill said that both sides are serious about finding a compromise, which this is really good to hear, because for myself, I was under the impression for a little bit, I knew we need stimulus. I knew Congress wanted stimulus. It would help out the economy and the American people. But for a little bit actually, I was on the fence, because it seemed like no matter what the American people were going through, Congress, Steve Mnuchin, Nancy Pelosi, Mitch McConnell, President Trump, it didn't seem like they really wanted to see stimulus go to the American people. It was just to the state and local governments and to big businesses, not the people. So I'm glad that we are getting closer, and hopefully the American people that are in need will get the aid and the relief that they're seeking. Now, in other stimulus news, today was the day that the Senate was going to vote on the PPP funding bill that would provide over $250 billion to businesses here in the United States. Well, we got word that this was rejected by Democrats earlier today. The bill was voted on, and it had a more popular vote than most people were predicting, but it still didn't pass the Senate. It was voted yes 40-57. So we did get some Democrats on board, however, not enough to see it pass. We actually need 61 votes in order for it to go through the Senate. Another vote is expected tomorrow on a more, it's a skinny bill, but it's a more comprehensive bill. It has more to it than just PPP funding. However, most people are predicting this is going to go absolutely nowhere and will not even receive the 57 votes that the PPP bill got today. The only reason why this bill is happening tomorrow, and this is what most people are saying, what a lot of experts are predicting, is that this is only happening so that Senate Republicans can tell their constituents We tried to get you stimulus. We tried to get you funding for your business. We tried to get you unemployment. We tried to get you all this other stuff. However, Democrats do not want to provide stimulus to you at this time. That's exactly what they're going to say. Well, this is technically just another political game. This is not really going to happen. The Democrats are going to block this, but not because they don't want to see stimulus, because it's not what the American people truly need. Yes, any stimulus would be great, but if we can get a comprehensive bill compared to a skinny bill, everybody would much rather have the comprehensive package. So we'll see what happens there. But as always, as I know more, I promise I will share more. I just want to thank you guys for watching today's stimulus update. If you have any questions whatsoever, please ask your questions down below. I do read all your comments. Sometimes I don't respond to every single one because there are a lot of comments, but I thank you guys for commenting and just interacting here on the channel. If you want to see more stimulus updates and you want to see more ways to become financially free and make money from home, do yourself a favor, click that subscribe button so I can keep you updated on everything. Now, again, I just want to say thank you guys for watching. Smash that thumbs up button if you enjoyed today's video, and I'll see you guys on the next one.